Wortmud Meeden Mountain Mudden. Hi there. Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome, everybody, to Cast Iron Wednesday, where, as you know, a lot of YouTube cooking channels have made something of a tradition of doing a cast iron video on Wednesday. It does seem to be a lot of times specifically on Wednesday. And so as a result, they've called this Cast Iron Wednesday. And before I even continue, I could see I better start with one thing, and that is play with the, we've got some rice boiling. And so right now, let's start out this way, and then we will have some proper introductions here. Yeah, we got some chicken over here too, which I only just put out. It has not been sitting out long. However, this is a good way as well to show how easy it is to make rice. We've got 4 cups of water that has come to a boil in my favorite water boiler, which is, actually it's not cast iron. It is a Wagner ware, though. This is the Wagner aluminum Dutch oven. Wonderful water boiler. 2 cups of jasmine rice. Yes, indeed, rice cooker. And we stir it. Turn this down a little bit. Put the cover on, and we wait for 20 minutes. And that's how hard it is to cook rice. So, yeah, once I learned that, there we go. Once I learned that and got a little bit of practice in, believe me, I have never used boil in a bag rice or minute rice, not in the past 10 years or so. No, there's nothing wrong with it, but I find it simply not necessary. Anyway, now that we've done that, let's get back to where we were. And you need a higher view
I've
as
actually
well.
messed up boiled in a bag rice more times than I've messed up regular rice.
Well, yeah, really?
Yeah, I have. It never comes out right
Huh.
for me.
Okay. Anyway, having said that, as I said, welcome everybody again to Cast Iron Wednesday. And as folks here know, we've got something special tonight. Yes, we do indeed have a giveaway contest tonight. As promised and as stated in the title of this video, we are indeed doing a giveaway of nothing less than a Birmingham Stove Range number 14 sized Red Mountain series cast iron skillet. Yes, those of you who've been kind enough to show up here the last few weeks or so know that a new old Red Mountain number 14 came into my kitchen, and I have tried it out and pitted it against good old Stumpy, my number 14 Century series skillet. And as I said a few times, it's like I honestly do not have a need for myself, that is, for 2 of these giant cast iron skillets. And so after some consideration, I figured as nice of a pan it is, I feel it would be really much more useful passing it on to a person who definitely would be able to find a use for that. And so here we are, as a result, having a cast iron giveaway.
Everybody knows that this pan that you'll be receiving is one of Eric's favorite pans. He's used it numerous times a year. It's not something that only comes out every once in a while. That's loved. So you'll be getting a pan that has been embedded with the love of cast iron already. So you're receiving a piece of nostalgia for him. So
Well, sort of. No, Stumpy is staying.
Oh, Stumpy's staying.
Stumpy's staying. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you were keeping. I thought you were getting. Oh.
No, actually, after consideration, I mean, really, I couldn't get rid of Stumpy.
See,
so.
I didn't. Okay, never mind. So
that's okay.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Never mind. Scratch that.
Yeah, no. So as I said, I'll talk a little bit more about it. I'll talk a little bit more about it when it comes out of the oven, because right now that pan is in fact heating up in the oven. Both of my big pans are heating up in the oven. In fact, that's because we are doing a recipe tonight of what they call chicken under a brick, except in this case we are using instead of a brick, we are using some more cast iron. And again, I'll get back into that. But I know what folks want to know about is the giveaway contest. So first of all, I guess we do have some rules that YouTube does require us to state when we do these kind of giveaway contests here. Number one is to state the sponsor of this video, and the sponsor of this video is myself, Cast Iron Chaos. In that, no, I'm actually not doing this as a sponsor for any company or manufacturer or producer or anything like that. I'm giving away a piece that I had paid for myself and was not given as any kind of a promo item, and that is in fact a vintage Red Mountain Series Birmingham Stove Range cast iron skillet. Let me see. If the giveaway prize is worth more than $600, I'm required to report it to the IRS. Well, unless someone were to sell it on eBay for over $600, crazier things have happened, but I don't think it's worth $600. That's certainly not the case here, so we don't have to worry about that. I am also doing this in a manner that I am attempting to be completely fair, honest, and even for everyone. And that's one reason why we are using a so-called secret word for this giveaway, namely that when folks, to enter into this drawing. Now, again, the giveaway contest began when this live video starts, and this contest will end when this live video ends, meaning typing the secret word into the YouTube video comments afterwards, that will not enter you into the contest. It has to be here during this live session. What we ask you to do is to click on the subscribe button if you'll be kind enough to subscribe to my channel, Cast Iron Chaos. And then once you have done so, it's really a matter of simply at some point in this video, type during this live session, I should say, type the secret word into the comments or the live, or into the chat, rather specifically into the live chat here, because we are recording the chat. And I'm trying to do so in order to be fair to everyone and to make sure that nothing is missed. Also, typing the secret word more than once does not enter you into the contest more than once. So please do not flood the channel. There is no point in that. That is not going to increase your chances of winning. Also, I guess I should say previously, the secret word is not going to be bacon, and it is not going to be not bacon. we are using a different secret word this time. So, I mean, that, yeah. So those were the ones from previous, but this time it is going to be something completely different, in that all you have to do at some point or another is simply type in the secret word, and then from there we will be recording everybody's entries. So and yeah, I guess you could say this may have something to do with the fact that what we are using actually tonight is kind of related to that, in that, as I said, this recipe is what I call cast iron chicken, because it's a variation on the recipe of chicken under a brick. Only in this case, rather than using a brick, we are using not only another blazing hot cast iron pan, but we are also using a cast iron. So hence cast iron chicken. This is in fact a sad iron, and in this case, because it's so big, I'm thinking we'll probably use 2 of these sad irons. These are these irons that you can find really everywhere, even today. I mean, they were produced anywhere from the 1800s all the way up to the early 20th century. In fact, this one here I'm pleased to have found. I think this was yet another Brimfield score. And if you'll notice, it is in fact a WAPAC or WAPAC. I've been told both ways. I've been told that this is actually pronounced WAPAC, although it is, of course, based on the city of Wapakoneta, Ohio. So it's hard to say, and I've been calling it WAPAC for that reason. But nonetheless, yeah, this is actually a WAPAC sad iron here. It has a number 5, and it weighs 5 pounds roughly. This one, on the other hand, is pretty much unmarked, in that it does say UDX 5, and I have no idea what the UDX stands for. As I said, you can find these things everywhere, usually in a rusty condition, at flea markets, at antique malls, and so forth. Sometimes you can get these things dirt cheap. In fact, this one I inherited from my parents. This one I actually paid a total of $10 for at Brimfield, and I paid that much for it because I wanted it, because of course it was a Wappick. In some instances, they sell these things for a lot more, and well, that's their choice. So, nonetheless, yes, of course, they don't make those sad. These are called sad irons, and the reason why they are called sad irons is because sad actually stands for them being, thick and heavy, and these are definitely sad irons in that for that reason. Of course, as I said, they don't make these anymore because they were since installed updated with the invention of steam irons. So, not that that might be related to anything. So, yeah, welcome to Cast Iron Wednesday. Say the secret word and be entered into the contest, or type the secret word and be entered into the contest, I should say. So, yes, indeed. And now that we've done that, and we have some rice simmering on the stove, the rice is already almost about halfway done. So, and which means I definitely need to start preparing the chicken. Well, one of the nice things about this recipe as well is that it is lightning fast. I mean, once I stop talking and actually prepare the chicken and it goes into the oven, it's only going to take a little more than 20 minutes to cook this chicken. How much chicken? In fact, we've got this much chicken. 5 pounds of it, in fact. This week, I happened to come across a 99-cent per pound special on chicken at my local Price Chopper, and as well, it turned out in this case it only seemed to be for these chicken thighs. I looked for chicken breasts, and they were not on sale. I also looked for chicken leg quarters, and strangely enough, they were not on sale. So that means, well, we're just going to have to be using some chicken thighs.
And they're gonna cook quick.
Yes, they are. So let's start preparing them, shall we? And besides, this is such an easy recipe. I mean, as you can see, I just simply have taken out my chicken thighs. And yes, you can use any chicken pieces for this. And I'm going to be coating both of them with a simple, just very simple. Yes, well, some salt. I won't use too much of it for that reason. Yeah. Some salts. Really nothing to it. Some black pepper. Let me get this mic a little closer. Some black pepper. Love pepper. And it's really as easy as this. After this is all done, I'm just going to flip it over and do the same thing on the other side.
I'm excited. This is one of my favorite chicken recipes.
Yeah, because it gives you a nice crispy, nice crispy skin.
It stays really juicy too because you're cooking it so quick.
Yes, indeed.
It doesn't have
All
time
right,
to dry out.
there we go. And one of my favorites, that of course would be smoked paprika. Oh no, I forgot. I'm skipping this. A little bit of garlic powder. Yes, indeed. Whoops, maybe not quite that much. That's all right. Okay. There we go. Salt, pepper, garlic. When I was growing up, Mom used to make these things all the time. She probably made baked chicken thighs pretty much more than any other kind of chicken, and she would always just give it a nice simple coating of salt, pepper, and garlic. However, since then I've learned to spice it up a little bit, namely with a little bit of smoked paprika, because not only does that add flavor to it, it also gives it a nice color as well when it comes out. So, and I blame Alton Brown for introducing me to smoked paprika, which has since become something of an addiction.
Remember when that container fell?
Oh, yes. All too well. So,
there's a reason that is in a nice glass jar.
Mm-hmm.
His original spice jar that was in fell out of the cabinet.
Yes.
Shattered on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And it did add a nice color to the white tile floor.
Yes, it did. Okay, and finally, one other ingredient, especially to add seasoning, and that would be good old adobo. There's really nothing to it, as you can see. Salt, pepper, garlic, some smoked paprika, or even just paprika if you have it, and adobo. And it's as simple as that. You really can't get much more, can't get much easier than this. Now that we've done that, we'll flip it to the skin side and just do the same thing. And then from there, we'll be ready to get this chicken in the oven. Yeah, I'm using, this is, as I said, this is a lot of chicken, but that's one of the reasons why I'm glad to be using such a big cast iron pan, because all of this should indeed be able to fit into a number 14 size pan. And so we'll be cooking 5 pounds of chicken in only a little more than 20 minutes. That's as I said, this is lightning fast, extremely easy to make, although you do have to be careful because, again, we've got 2 very big and very heavy cast iron pans in the oven right now. So if you're preparing this, I mean, you better be sure, if you have kids, I mean, you better have them prepared for it. In some instances, if you want to keep them out of the kitchen, you can do so. If your kids are familiar with using blazing hot cast iron pans, then be sure they are ready for it. Because, yeah, a heavy 500-degree cast iron pan is nothing to sneeze at, literally. And, yeah, that's just it. As I said, they've been heating up in the oven to 500 degrees, which is another great reason for using cast iron, because what's 500 degrees to cast iron? Really, pretty much nothing. They laugh at it. The pan laughs at it. All right, there we go. So that's the salt, the pepper. Once again, a little bit of garlic. And it's really as easy as this. Of course, in my case, I'm also scattering it all over my countertop. But hey, that's because we're live, and hey, it gives a nice visual effect. And finally, the old adobo. Come on, let's do this right. There we go. A little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. How many pieces are there? It looks like there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There are actually 10 pieces of chicken here, so that's not bad at all. Then there you go. Consider as well. This I only paid about $5 for this 5 pounds of chicken thighs. 10 pieces of chicken, 10 chicken thighs. How much would it cost to do 10 chicken thighs at KFC? I wonder. So. Yeah, JD Hyde, the pan laughs at 500, but the seasoning cries. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I'll get to your comments in just a second. And let's see. From there, we are hello. Oh, and by the way, as well, hello to everybody. I'll name everybody in just a moment or so. I promise I'm not ignoring you, because these comments are really what makes these a lot of fun. And thank you for everybody for your patience here, because here we go. The rice will be ready pretty much at about the same time the chicken goes into the oven. Let's see. I've got to do this so that I can get the pans out of the oven. Which means I better move this chicken aside. Actually, let me show you that part first. And besides, you can see how professional, not these live videos that I do here are. Let's get this chicken aside. Oh, let's get these things aside as well. I'm going to need this for the pan to rest on. Come on, come on. So we will put the chicken, there we go, right over here. Be careful I don't bump it. Okay, and besides, this way the pan won't touch the counter or the spices here on the counter. Let's move these out of the way, and then we will finally be ready to bring out the star of the show. Actually, both of the stars of the show.
I'll be out in a second.
Okay, here, which means now I do have to move this so that I can get this out of the oven. And away we go. And the other part is that we have to do this pretty fast. So here goes nothing. Right here it is. Yep, this is the one. Gotta be careful not to burn myself. Anyway, this is the Red Mountain pan. Okay, let's move this in now. Here's the Red Mountain pan. Okay, I'll do very quickly, and then we've got to go. All right. Let's see if I can do this right. It should show the 14A. I don't think I can do more than that because that's a 500-degree thing, and you can see already it's causing my gloves to steam. So now that we've done that, let's quickly get this chicken into the pan, shall we? Yes, indeed. Okay.
Full steam ahead.
Yes. All right. Sorry, I'm just trying to move this over here. Damn it.
Here, chicken here. I'll hold the tray.
Careful of that.
Yep,
Careful
I'll
that
hold
is
here. I'll hold the tray for you.
Please be careful.
Yeah, I got you. Here.
Okay. Here we go. Skin side down, in fact. Actually, let's just do it this way.
Yep.
Save some time.
Mm-hmm.
2. Come on. 2. 3. 4. Thank you for holding on to it. I'm almost done. 5. 6. 7. 8.
Look at that. Perfect.
I better move this over quickly.
Just a little bit, yeah.
9.
And snaggle the bagel right there.
And 10. Thank you so much.
There we go.
Okay, thank you for your help.
No problem.
Quickly do this. Get my hands dry. I've learned all too well about using wet gloves. And yeah, this thing is already sizzling nicely, as you can see.
Yeah,
But now we've got to
to
open the oven here. I had to move the camera so that there would be room and bring out the other star of the show, and that would be Stumpy. Here comes old Stumpy.
Stumpy.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I couldn't see you partying with Stumpy. I really just couldn't. I just couldn't see it.
There we go, and
Bam! Look at that.
And that's exactly what you do. You take that pan. Come on, get that right. There we go, and put it on top. And now from here, the irons are not hot. Here's the Wappic iron.
God bless you.
Yes, and here's the other iron.
Oh, is that too?
So that's more than enough. That means we've got like 10 to 15 pounds of pressure on it. Okay, now quickly, let's get this back in the oven. And I've got to be careful. In fact, oh boy, let me quickly move this up here so that there's room. And here goes nothing.
Here, you want to help you on one side?
I got it. I got it. And yes, I do. I got it. Oh,
those can slide here. Those can slide. Okay.
Yes, they
here,
can.
let me get this side. Here,
yeah.
You go one side and get the other.
This is very heavy. Oh. Thank you. Got it.
Here, I'll reach in and put the pans.
Please be careful. Yes.
I got you.
Thank you so much.
There we go.
It's in. Ha.
There we go.
Thank you.
See, that's why I'm here in a pinch.
Okay. Yes, indeed.
Yep. See, people outside are honking. Beep, beep, good job, guys. Beep, beep.
That's actually a lot easier if you use smaller pans. I mean, you could just as easily do that with a regular 10-inch cast iron pan. Excuse me. Or even 2 10-inch cast iron pans. But there we go. Oh, the chicken's in the oven. And now we've got one more thing. Take out the rice. Boy, I've been so busy I haven't even had a chance to say hi to everybody yet. But
I bet you when you open the lid, it's going to...
Oh, well, yeah. If I open the lid, it's going to... Steam. All right, let me.
Softly steamy in here.
Yes.
We got chicken thighs.
Yeah,
steaming.
I sure am glad I didn't burn myself. I'd really be steamed at that.
You know what? Actually, Eric, I don't think you've burned yourself not even once.
Shh. Don't want to jinx it. Okay, here we go now.
Oh, look at all
Just
that
like
steam.
that. Yes.
Tons and tons of steam.
Tons of steam. And having said that, though, I mean, see how easy it is to cook rice as well? I mean, this is what I mean. Look at this. All I got to do is move it around a little bit.
Yeah. Perfect. Eric taught me how to cook rice. I never had it right. And for the first time I made it, when he showed me how he did it, it came out perfect. Because I was always taught that you put the rice and the water in together. And he showed me that if you boil the water first and put the rice in, it actually does work, and it comes out really well.
Yeah, I was taught that. Yeah. Say the secret. Type the secret word into the chat and be entered into the contest. Okay, but anyway, yeah, that's how easy it is as well. We've got 4 cups of rice here, so there'll be more than enough to go with the chicken. And anyway, Jamie wanted some extra as well to make one of her favorite dishes.
A little bit of adobo and a little bit of fucking sorry.
I didn't.
From Massachusetts. I can't help it.
I didn't hear anything.
It's my extra chromosome. So one thing I figured out actually.
So if you do it this way, you won't have any leche.
Oh no, I'm not putting it on there. I'm just gonna show people. So a few weeks ago, there's this restaurant in Worcester. It's called Sazon Latino. It's a Spanish restaurant. And they have their yellow rice, and they put lime, like wedges of lime on the side, and I put the lime on the rice, and oh my goodness, it was so good. So we get some lime juice here. So tonight I'm gonna have some adobo and lime with the chicken. Oh, it's gonna be so good. But with the leftover rice, what I do in the morning is I just take some milk and heat up some milk and some rice, and a little bit of cinnamon and a little bit of vanilla, and it's cut out as arroz con leche, which is just milk and rice.
Pretty much use it as a cereal.
It's so good. It's so good. It's like, it tastes like rice pudding. It just doesn't have the consistency, but stuff you wouldn't think of, with leftover rice. Rice and peanut butter is actually really good because it's really high in protein for you. A lot of hikers that are doing like high mountain, it's a good snack. But just generally, I figured out that rice and peanut butter with a little bit of sugar, or rice and milk and some cinnamon and some vanilla, arroz con leche. The adobo with some lime. You can really do anything with rice because rice really tastes like what you put in it.
Oh yeah, so, all you have to do is steam it.
Yep.
Okay, finally, at long last, let's take a look at some comments here. Hi, everybody. Thank you very much for your patience in watching all of this. Somehow we actually managed to do this without any disasters. Thank goodness, because that is never fun. Anyway, let's head back here and take a look at some folks here like Dos Vasquez Farms and Pibgorn and Pawpaw Dan, JD Hyde 4, John, Sam Cook, Granny Graham to be determined, and I said Pawpaw Dan already. Magnolite is sure shining tonight. Yeah, I did actually polish it up as well. Because you saw that video on restoring the other cast iron roaster. So I quickly applied the Easy Off blue can only to this one, and then after that I washed it all off with dish soap to give it a nice shine. So I like that. Anyway, and I will not. Well, I hope you will. And Joseph Ortiz, Turner, Fowler, Chris S. And I very much appreciate everybody who has shown up here. Glad you're keeping good old Stumpy, says Clico, if I pronounce that right. Yeah, I debated on that, as I mentioned. It was a question of obviously which one, and I decided on Stumpy partly for sentimental reasons, and also partly, I will have to admit one other thing, the smooth surface that Stumpy has. Now, there's nothing wrong with the surface of the Red Mountain pan. I will say right now, it does not have a smooth or ground down surface. It has a somewhat rough surface similar to what you might find with a modern day Lodge. And I'm being honest about that. However, that's really has very, very little effect on cooking, as folks know and have seen many times, not just on this channel, but elsewhere, as well as through their own personal experience. You do not need a glass smooth surface to cook in cast iron. You still get some.
Smell that.
Oh yeah, that smells pretty good. Oh yeah. Check out that steam, folks.
Yep. Try a bite of that.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take that out.
No, grab it. I wanted you to try to show people.
All right.
Yep.
This is with the lime and the adobo.
Lime and adobo. Good, huh? Yeah. We found a new way to eat some rice.
All right. So, and Glurbs Chernura, there's always a pleasure. Well, thank you so much. But yeah, like I said, I decided to do that. That particular pan, as I mentioned, it is in fact a genuine Red Mountain pan. I'm fairly absolutely certain of that. I did a video on that. You can see, especially, describing the history of that particular pan and why the underside of the pan does not have the ridge on the bottom that you normally see on the under the underside of the handle, as you see in just about every other BS&R pan. Once these things come out of the oven, which again is already only about 15 minutes or so from now, I'll be able to show you that pan in more detail. Also, I am suspicious, will never be able to prove it, but I believe this is actually a newer Red Mountain pan. Some of the markings on it, especially the rougher surface, make me think it is not the older or oldest of the Red Mountain series, but in fact, it may be no less than, or maybe as little as only a few years younger than old Stumpy. You okay?
Yeah, good.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. It may have been made in the years just before BS&R switched over to its modern dice manufacturing, when they changed the design of their pans. Or it may be a little bit older than that. I would give it a rough estimate of dating maybe somewhere between the 1940s to the 1960s. And that's really not as old as it used to be either. So the difference between that Red Mountain and Stumpy may be as much as 30 years. It could be from the 1940s, and Stumpy could be from the 1970s. Or they both could be from the 1960s. The Red Mountain could be from the early 1960s, and Stumpy could be from the later 1960s. I will never be able to exactly date it, and all I can do is give an estimate on this. Meanwhile, Granny Graham, thanks for the reminder on hitting the like button. Well, yes, I very much appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, I have my secret decoder ready, and now I'm at the comments where everybody is typing the secret word, and thank you again. As I said, you only need to type the secret word into the chat once. I mean, you can do so more than once if you like. We ask again, yeah, especially to keep spammers out. That's the main reason why I'm doing this secret word thing. I don't want somebody to show up and say hi and disappear and think they're entered into the contest, and that's actually not the case. So yeah, it also brings back, I shouldn't say memories, because it was a little bit before my time, but I have since seen archived episodes of Groucho's You Bet Your Life. And yeah, those were fun to watch too. So I'm more than happy to follow in Groucho's footsteps and do a thing where, again, say this, type the secret word, be entered into the contest. No, you're not going to win $100. Although the winner of the pan, it could be argued that pan may be worth somewhere around $100 or so. And the best of luck to whoever wins it. So, yeah, I think of you, Steam Bacon. It's not bacon. Yeah, James Griffiths is really trying to do it. How long have you had Stumpy and BS&R? I actually acquired Stumpy in late 2014. And in fact, I thought he was a Red Mountain back then, because Stumpy only has a big number 14 on the bottom. However, further investigation has determined he is definitely of the Century series. Not that there's anything wrong with that. BS&R pans are great all the way up until their very last years. So, but yeah, I've had Stumpy since 2014, and I've cooked a lot of dishes with Stumpy. He is once again going to do my Thanksgiving roast turkey, for instance. So, this particular, but it's really more that because I'm a cast iron geek more than anything else, that I still wanted a Red Mountain Series number 14. And so finally this year, I actually managed to get a decent eBay score, and I actually acquired one. And now that I acquired it, well, I guess the urge is past now. And as I said, I feel it's better to give it away. It's a perfectly fine and really good cast iron pan, which is why, again, thank you. I'm really who the person who ends up winning it. I have little doubt that you will enjoy it. So, peg tooth. I used to own a Wappic 9 horsepower tube man chainsaw that was made in 1953 and 1954. Somehow I think that was a different manufacturer. We actually used them when I was a very small child, says Debbie. Did everybody just say steam, says William Hurt? Well, yeah, certainly the case. I mean, all I'm asking is, as I said, there is a secret word, and just simply type that into the chat if you have not done so. Joseph Ortiz, I'm making chicken in my Tavala. And hello, Fluffy, says Pawpaw Dan. Who eats all the food you cook? Well, I've been doing my best to unload it on everybody I can. Friends, family. Pretty much Jamie knows that whenever any of her friends come to visit, what do I say? Hey, have they eaten yet? So I can only say I'm doing my best. And hello as well to me and to the grumpy old gringo senior. Nice to see you back. Aaron Rollins, is the rice steaming in the Magnolite? Yes, it is, as we have seen there. So we all just waiting to be invited. Yeah. Unfortunately, right now we've actually got 119 people in the chat, and thank you very much for that. And I definitely do not have room in my apartment for 119 people. So and Old Man Speaks, my dinner time is over and this is better than watching TV. Well, thank you. Wow, once again. I actually gave up cable TV 11 years ago. Wow. And about 98% of the time, I do not miss it. There are those few moments when I'm thinking I should catch up on something, but hey, now, of course, that's what YouTube is for. So enjoy your channel, Old Man Speaks. No paprika on the skin. Did I skip the smoked paprika on the skin? If so, then unfortunately, I must have been too hasty. However, we still have a good coating of salt, pepper, and garlic and adobo on it, so it'll still get some good color and some good crisping. Also, one nice thing about using dark meat, other than the fact that I love dark meat, I think it's actually juicier and tastier myself. It's also much more difficult to burn, so that if this actually goes a few minutes over, that won't be a problem. I mean, white meat can dry out. Dark meat is much, much more difficult to dry out. So that's one of the reasons why I love cooking dark meat, as well as I mentioned, we grew up with it. So love that cast iron sizzle, grumpy old gringo. That must have been when it went right into the pan. That looks heavy. Yeah, that definitely is heavy, and the chaos begins. And yet somehow we managed to get that in without any disasters, and I'm very happy about that. So, and want to see you pick that up. Well, you saw me pick it up little by little. Okay, was that 2 number 14s? Yes, there are 2 number 14 pans. One of them is Stumpy, my Century series, and the other is the Red Mountain number 14 that we are giving away in this contest. As I said, after these come out of the pan, you will be able to get a much better look at this. So, other than that, the oven rack is bowed downward. Yes, it is. That is heavy. I mean, we're talking 2 big cast iron pans plus 5 pounds of chicken plus 10 pounds of sad irons there. So yeah, that is a lot of weight on there. And I'm glad I actually managed to do that. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm also glad I was able to do that with my wrist and everything like that. My wrist feels fine too. So I'm actually very happy about that. Don't drop it. I did my best. And let me see. Any chance you have a favorite among your cast iron turkey recipes? If anything, I think it would probably be the latest one I've done, which is a really simple, basically really not much more than rubbing butter under the skin. Well, you brine it first, but rub butter under the skin and give it a good rub. And then from there, you just roast it. Yeah. We're getting into turkey time, and as a matter of fact, I have a turkey thawing out in the fridge right now because I want to do a turkey video this weekend. and have it done well so that there'll be plenty of time for folks to see it before Thanksgiving. But I've done a few of them. It seems like now I've been doing an average of about 3 turkeys per year for the last few years, so I've had some practice. And I've learned a couple of things about roasting a turkey. In fact, I'm going to be repeating this again and again all the way through Thanksgiving and probably even Christmas, because this is really important advice, and I'm speaking from experience here. Yes, number one, I am a big fan of cooking it in cast iron. But even if you do not cook your turkey in cast iron, heaven forbid, even not, there are two absolute things that you really must do. Number one, above everything else when cooking your turkey or really any other kind of meat, do not cook by time. Do not say 3.5 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes, 4 hours. Do not cook by time. Cook by temperature. Get a thermometer. Get a thermometer to measure the temperature of your turkey as it cooks and after it cooks. That is the absolute number one crucial rule to use. And if you cook your turkey by temperature, you will not fail. Whether or not you have a crappy oven like mine, whether you have a fantastic gas-fired, really incredibly fancy oven, whether or not, however you do it, even if you cook it, say, over coals, which is a great way to cook a turkey as well, do not cook by time. Cook by temperature. Use a thermometer. That is the number one rule to follow. If you do that, you will have an excellent Thanksgiving turkey. No matter what you use for a rub, no matter if you put the turkey in upside down or flip it or use a special set of ingredients, or use a $150 free range organic, etc., etc. You know the turkey has a pedigree. Oh, and by the way, I'm not kidding. Whole Foods, I have seen turkeys selling at Whole Foods for $150. That's another story, and I don't get into politics, but yeah, whether you use one of those turkeys or whether you use, like I did, a turkey that I bought at Wally World for 87 cents a pound. I've got it. It's a 17-pound turkey, and I paid maybe about $13 or $14 for it. And it's thawing in the fridge right now. No matter what, if you cook it by temperature, it's gonna work. Have I gotten that point through yet? That's because that's the other important rule to do when cooking turkey, and that is don't panic. It's almost impossible to screw up a turkey. That's another reason why there are 1,000 tricks and tips on cooking a turkey, about flipping it or putting it in feet first, or starting with a blast of heat or ending with a blast of heat, or just slow cooking or high heat cooking. It's almost impossible to screw up a turkey. Okay, now let's get back here. Always, Debbie always have used cooked rice so much better to me. So, and mental health matters. You could have paid homage to the Simpsons and made steamed hams. Well, yeah, I need to do a ham at some point as well, too. So, and it's, let me see. Okay, getting back to the newest comments. William Hurt, I still cook steaks by time and eye. And Noel Cannon, I never bake Thanksgiving turkey. My tradition is turkey and sausage gumbo. Hey, that's great. It's your Thanksgiving, and I'm not going to tell you what to do. If you want to do gumbo, gumbo is great. I like the idea. If somebody wants to do a tofurkey, you can certainly do so. In fact, in my previous life, before my life changed and I learned how to cook, I'm embarrassed to say this, our tradition was we would get Chinese every Thanksgiving, and we didn't even bother with the cooking. So we ordered out and had Chinese on Thanksgiving. It was good. It's Chinese takeout. But ever since I've learned how to cook, I really, really enjoy doing it. So, so yeah, whatever works for you. And the best I can say is enjoy yourself. Have as much fun as you can. Slayer Piano Man. I'm trying to restore a Wagner pot I found in a field. It's pretty rusty, currently soaking in vinegar and scrubbing with steel every half hour or so. Any better methods for really bad pans? Yeah, E-Tank. Look into electrolysis. It sounds like you may need to build an electrolysis setup for it. That's probably the best way to restore a really, really bad off cast iron pan. So I would advise giving that a try. And Melissa Watson, I know someone who melted the oven bag on the bird. Yeah. Just a few years ago, my brother, and I don't mention names, actually invited me to his place for Thanksgiving. And his wife used an oven bag to cook the turkey. Okay. His wife used an oven bag to cook the turkey, and I happened to be standing there in the kitchen when she took it out of the bag and poked it with a thermometer, and the temperature shot up past 200 degrees. Well, I did not say a word because I was the guest. I'm not the type of person who's going to go into somebody's home and criticize their cooking. I mean, but yeah. So it is possible to cook with an oven bag. Guess what? Use a thermometer, cook it by temperature, and you shall be able to do it. So Turner Fowler, well, thank you for trying the recipe. I'm actually proud of that. Pawpaw Dan, do you have a BS&R chef skillet? Actually, no, I don't. I've never found a BS&R chef skillet. I had, past tense, a Wagner chef skillet that I had found several years ago, then ended up selling it. What I use for a chef skillet right now is a modern day Lodge Blacklock 10-inch skillet, which is shaped really just like a chef skillet, and it's nice and light. So I use that as a chef skillet, yeah, Jamie's favorite too. And I really like using it as a chef skillet. If I come across a BS&R chef skillet, who knows? But I haven't found one yet. Let me see. Still going back here. E-Tank for heavy rust. Yes, see, exactly. Chinese food is the best. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it. So as I said, if you want to have Chinese on Thanksgiving, you can do so. There's no reason not to, other than the fact that cooking a turkey is, as I found, is actually a lot of fun. I still cook steaks by time and I. Works for me. Well, you've got a lot of experience on that. I will have to say that. I mean, especially if you're really new to this, and it's probably safer in that respect to cook by temperature. That even includes doing things like a prime rib. I'll get into that at another time, I think. Let me see. What part of the turkey do you insert the thermometer for doneness? Well, most folks say the so-called thickest part of the turkey, which is usually below the breast and above the leg. I actually, here's the thing. Okay, let me plug my recipe, which is you preheat a cast iron pan. You put the turkey right into the pan and then roast it that way. I mean, I know that most recipes say to elevate the turkey, use a rack or something. My reason is that by putting it directly into the pan, you put some additional cooking into the dark meat. And so it actually cooks a little better. That means there's a bit of a temperature difference. So I personally put the thermometer into the breast and wait and aim for the breast to reach about 160 degrees. Then you take it out and you've got carryover cooking so that it rises a couple more degrees. Meanwhile, the heat of the cast iron heats the dark meat and actually raises the temperature on there so that you've got well done dark meat as well as a good white meat that is not overcooked. As I said, all I can ask is you check out my videos on cooking turkey and see what you think. So that's why I hope to cook in it someday. Chef Skillet cooks omelets well. Ramen stir fry. Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's right. I love doing a ramen stir fry for that reason. So, and Devil's Triangle. Cook all meats by temperature. Instant read thermometer is cheap and well worth it. No question about it. Yeah, you can even get cheap thermometers. It's really, really, really worth the expense. It's not expensive, as you saw. and yet it will help save a lot of your meat from being overcooked, that is. And speaking of which, I think I have actually gone a little over time. It's time to get this out of the oven. So here we go. Let's quickly do this. I'm sorry, I put this away. Let's actually lower the, there we go. Get the view here so that you should be able to at least see it come out of the oven. And move these aside, and away we go. I've got to be very careful again. This is still heavy, but should be easier, I hope, to get it out of the oven. For starters, I actually have to back this up a little bit. Sorry. There we go. Yeah, when you open this oven up, boy, you sure get a lot of steam. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Okay, there we go. Let's move this out a little bit. Come on. Careful. Wow, this is hot. Okay, I think I'm going to have to get in the way so that I can actually lift this thing. Sorry, but, safety first. Let's do this. Come on. Oh, man. I got to turn this around a little bit. The lifting handle is way over on the other side. That's what the difficulty is. In fact, it might be easier. Pull it out. Here we go. Got it. And over. Wow. All right, let me close this. And then I'll give you a close-up. There we go. Thank you for waiting. There it is. And when I do this, it always makes a spot on the top pan. Oh, not this time. That's surprising. Okay, we'll move this over. Sorry about that, Tass. Okay, usually it makes a spot. Excuse me. Sorry about that. Okay, but now comes the moment of truth. In fact, how am I going to do this? Sorry, I actually need to make a little bit of room here. There we go. And move this rice aside here. Thank you for waiting, folks. Here we go. At last. Ta-dum. All right. There we go. As you can see, by the way, this is the bottom of Stumpy here. There is only a little bit of grease and maybe a couple of tiny little pieces that you could call stuck. However, the worst part is over. Because here we are with our chicken under a brick, except that we did not use a brick. So, let me, now comes the other fun part. Oh, good. Jamie was already kind enough to wash that tray. So, thank you very much, Jamie. Get out the old tongs. Get these things out of here. And I guess because it's dark made, it did actually, I have to admit, it gave off quite a bit of grease here. However, that should not really be a problem. This is what the other side of the chicken looks like for the record. All right, so there's 5, 6, 7. In fact, I think I will grab another plate very quickly so that we'll have a little bit more room here. As somebody said, here comes the chaos. 8. Come on, you little whatever. 9. And 10. There we go. So anyway, there we go. I'd say not bad at all. And boy, look at all that steam coming off the chicken. As a reminder, folks, just if you have not done so yet, just simply type the secret word into the chat at least once. Again, the contest will end when this live video ends. We're not done yet, though. Although we're not bad off here so far. We're 55 minutes into this. However, now that the chicken is done, oh man, does this ever smell good too. What people want to see, of course, is the actual pan itself. And there does seem like a lot of grease in this, so I'm going to have to drain this grease off. Let me see. Let's quickly dig out a metal dish. And of course, this is still a very hot cast iron pan, so I still have to be careful. But this is going to be a lot easier than taking all of those things out of the oven. So, move this around. Yeah, much easier. There we go. Oh, damn it. Just barely touched my arm. Nothing serious. Anybody who cooks in cast iron knows that these little things happen all the time. But still, there we go. And we're off to a decent start. And gee, it does look like this Red Mountain pan is steaming quite a bit, isn't it? Did I end up accidentally touching the mouse? Hold on. There we go. Okay, back to business here. Anyway, let's do a couple more comments, and then I'll be able to finally take you on a guided tour of this pan. That fat is great to save and cook eggs in the morning. Oh, I don't doubt it. Yeah, chicken schmaltz. So, Johnny McMichael, save one for me. Well, we've got plenty here too. So, hello, Shadow Walker XM, and yes, I'm sorry I didn't see you were here. Well, don't worry. I'm glad you showed up, Shadow Walker XM. Just be sure to type the secret word into the chat here so that we can be entered into the contest. Yes, and I have addressed your your little issue that occurred. Hello, Peg Tooth. I always like to participate in the recent giveaways, but because I live in Canada, I accept I'm disqualified to be a winner. I'm still a winner because I love this show. And Speed 3, that's the best part. We like crispy skin as well. Yeah, the skin is the star of the show. Yeah, no question about that. So I love it when you get 10 pieces of chicken in the oven. 10 pieces of chicken comes out of the oven. Yeah, exactly. That's one reason why I like using a nice big cast iron pan here. Although, as you saw, it is admittedly, that was actually kind of difficult getting it into the oven and out of the oven. And so far, I'm doing pretty good. You know, I only just barely touched my arm against that pan just now. And even then, it had cooled off a little bit. If you're not careful, you know, with a big, heavy 500, in fact, 2 heavy 500-degree pieces of cast iron, there could be some really serious, someone being seriously hurt. So all I can say in that case is please be careful, take precautions, know what you're doing, and take your time. Other than that, though, as I'll also say again, this recipe, as I said, you do not need this huge cast iron pan for this particular recipe, though it may help because we were able to roast or cook 10 pieces of chicken at once, and we did it in less than 20 minutes, in only a little more than 20 minutes, too. During the last giveaway, I did the Dutch oven chicken, the one where I quickly roasted a whole chicken at 500 degrees. That may be the easiest way possible, I think, to roast a chicken. Well, what we've seen here tonight might actually be, if not the second easiest, but somewhere close to it. Even though no, admittedly, I do make it a little bit more complicated because we are using 2 heavy cast iron pans. You probably do not even need to put the weights on top of the pans. I just do so because, that's kind of like the whole point of this pressed chicken recipe. Even, smells great. Yes, actually it does. So, hope it was a happy order upon. Feel you're straining all the way down here in Louisiana. Yeah, no kidding. But that actually wasn't so bad. I mean, fortunately, again, nothing bad has happened. And I'm glad about that. And now, of course, we can just safely let this cool off here. All right. Papa Dan, burping is when you open the oven a crack before opening all the way. This way you don't have 500-degree plus temperature blow in the face. Even, every oven has the ability to open a crack. Exactly. So where are the biscuits to go with your chicken? Well, we did make some rice, but I'm afraid, we didn't have the time to make biscuits tonight, I'm afraid. Still, take those irons off the skillets before you remove them. Yes, exactly. And that's what we did. All right. Having said all that, I think we can finally. Have you ever done a roasted chicken in a fluted pan? I have not yet. No, actually, that's not true. I think I did do it once several years back. And I have no doubt whatsoever it's a great way to roast a chicken. You do have to cover the centerpiece with a little bit of aluminum foil to keep it from dripping down underneath. But otherwise, you've got essentially the same thing you might get with beer can chicken. So yeah, that's one of those many things that's on my bucket list to eventually do. And okay, show appreciation. Now, like the channel. Well, yes, thank you very much. Take those irons off the skillets. No, we said that already. Okay, having done all that, let's move this pan of grease aside. Get it out of the way here. Now, finally, I think I can take you on a journey through this Red Mountain cast iron skillet. And thank you very much, Slayer Piano Man. Made your turkey last year. Oh, yeah. I really like how these turkeys turn out when you cook them in cast iron as well. So, gee, this looks like a little piece of skin here or something stuck to it. Gee, I might just have to try this. Oh, yeah. The adobo definitely gives it flavor. I am going to wash this as well and clean it up before sending it out to the winner. Don't worry about that. Nonetheless, this is in fact a Birmingham Stove Range number 14 size cast iron skillet. Of course, the larger, their number 12 and number 14 had this tiny little helper handle here with a little hole through it. And that's one easy way to identify the larger BS&R skillets. As I said, the number 12 and the number 14 did that. They did not do it with their number 10s. The other thing, of course, is that because this is a Red Mountain, you can see that it has the not only the size number on the bottom, but also the S, namely the mold marker. These number 14 in particular seem to have only 2 molds. There was a 14A and the 14S. And I've mentioned already, I have reason to believe this is a later Red Mountain series from the 1940s to 1960s. I'm not sure if they used the S specifically with the later series of it or not. The other thing, of course, about this particular pan is, as I'd mentioned before, trying to do this without draining grease all over the place. Let's hold this right, shall we? The handle, this is the only BS&R skillet that does not have the ridge underneath the handle. Oh, yeah, a little grease running out, but only a little bit. That does not have the ridge underneath the handle, the way old Stumpy here does, for instance, which is why a lot of people, well, some people anyway, have wondered if this may not actually be from BS&R, if it might be a recast. And And as I said in my video I did a couple of weeks ago on this, I have reason to believe that this is the genuine item. And I'm thinking that it was only because this thing was so big, it simply could not fit into the pattern of the mold. So they had to actually they actually had to narrow down the handle a little bit to make it all fit. When they went to production, automated production in the 1960s, then they were able to finally produce a cast iron pan with the ridge underneath, the number 14 only. All of their other skillets did have the ridge underneath. So, also, as I mentioned, this does have a somewhat rough surface, kind of like a modern day lodge. But as I said, there's no problem at all with that. As you saw, I mean, as you can see, there was no serious sticking when the chicken came out of the pan. And as anybody who has roasted chicken knows, there's pretty much always going to be some residue here. It's not going to come out completely clean. So all things considered, this was a pretty successful cook, I think. Especially since this is the result. I mean, these things here are starting to cool off now. There's a little bit of steam coming out of them. But yeah, I'm certainly not having any complaints about how this turned out. And believe me, I'm resisting the temptation to just simply tear into these right now. Yeah. And here are the other 7 pieces we cooked as well. That's just it. We did 10 pieces all at once in this giant pan. So yes, I am actually quite happy with this turned out. There's a little bit of grease, but not very much either. So especially for dark meat, this is not bad at all. Okay, having said all that, Brian Anderson, I love wild rice with chicken. Watch the Steam channel. Yes. It reminds me of a video from one of my all-time favorite musicians, Peter Gabriel, when he did this song, and it was called Steam. How much restoration did you have to do to it once you got it? The Red Mountain actually was in very good condition. All I did was bathed it in the lye tank for about 2 weeks or so to completely strip it down to the bare metal. After that, had to give it a scrubbing with Barkeeper's Friend to remove any residual flash rust. And then from there, just simply seasoned it in the oven. And it really was not difficult. What's the best way to prepare wild rice for chicken? I will let you answer that because I really don't have an answer for that myself. That's one thing I still need to look into. Hot water, kosher salt, stainless steel, scour and season. Yes, Volksworks Garage. It really was as easy as that. What flavor is adobo? Adobo is a spice combination, yes. Let's take a look and see what it says. Well, other than, it doesn't even mention preservatives. And it says here, salt, garlic powder, sugar, spices, including turmeric, citric acid, and silicon dioxide as an anti-caking agent. And that's really all it says. So the secret is spices. However, adobo, as you know, is a very popular and easy chicken seasoning, not just for chicken, but for other kinds of dishes as well. The best I could say, if you want an exact breakdown, look up an adobo recipe online, and that will be very easy to do. So, but nonetheless, yes, it's going to be a beautiful pan, and I'm certain, I do hope somebody will be very happy to get that. I'll say again is that we are logging this chat and trying not to miss anything so that we can be sure that everyone who types in the secret word will be entered into the contest, into the giveaway contest. You only have to type the secret word in once. Typing it more than once will not enter you into the contest twice or more. Will not enter you more than once. Nonetheless, I know people are having fun typing the secret word, and I don't see any reason not to. But still, and come live with me here in Brazil. Well, who knows what might happen, Bruno? And hello, Jeff Colasar as well. You are the lucky winner of a in one of these giveaways. So I guess all I can ask for is your confirmation that I am living up to my word, and that the winner will receive his skillet once it's done. Do you work with stainless steel pans? Um, Frankly, not anymore. I mean, I was using stainless steel up until the point where I learned how to cook in cast iron. Also, I had, past tense, a stainless steel stock pot until I learned how good it is to use aluminum for boiling water. So at this point, I really there. On the other hand, Jamie does have one stainless steel saucepan that she uses for cooking rice, and of course, there's no reason not to. So. Papa Dan, I'm hoping that I win, just being truthful. Well, we try to be fair to everyone. That's all I can say. And yeah, that is kind of one regret, is that I only have one prize to give away. I'm sorry to say. But I'm working on that as best as I can. Okay, hello, Chad Kaler. Hello, Zanzer as well. Where is your spork? Well, right now my spork is in the utensil drawer. In fact, I washed it off, and it is waiting to be used again. Yeah, I did a quickie video on my titanium spork, only because that is probably my favorite eating utensil, and as you can see, I'm pretty proud of it. It's 14 years old. I've gotten a lot of use from it, and it, other than some residual scratches, it still works as good as the day I got it. So, Daryl Wissink, we have two cast iron bread loaf pans from Lodge. They're slightly smaller than normal loaf pans. You know why they make them smaller? Well, I can only say that unfortunately that is how they were designed, regrettably. And I will admit, for that reason, that when I went to look for a cast iron loaf pan, I actually ended up getting one from Camp Chef, kind of like for that reason. I was also lucky enough to discover, let me pull this one off the rack, I think, because this one is amusing enough. Right here. There it is. Also, a few years ago, God, how the time flies, I was also amused enough that I discovered this. It looks like a cast iron ham boiler. You know, those huge cast iron pots, yet this thing is small enough to fit in your hand here. I saw a photo of one of these on the cast iron group, and I thought it was really amusing, and I'd wanted one of those ever since, and I was actually stunned to come across this at a flea market, the giant flea market in Seaverville, Tennessee, in fact. And I paid $15 for it, and I have not regretted it. I thought this was from Lodge because of this marking on it that says HB, which obviously means ham boiler. But actually, I've since been informed by the experts that there was another foundry. You know, there were a lot of foundries in the old days. This thing probably dates to like maybe the 1920s to 1930s or so, but there was some other small foundry that made this thing. And now I actually don't remember the name of it. And I believe, in fact, HB is the initials of the foundry. It does not mean ham boiler, but I don't remember the name of it. I will have to look it up. Anyway, the point being is that this is also the size of a bread loaf pan. And yes, I actually have a couple of times made bread in this. It is a really nice baking pan as well. All right, let me get this away. And, oh, hold on for a second. Okay, back to where we were. Maestro Place 7. Yeah, I heard aluminum caused dementia. Well, I know you've heard it. A lot of people have heard it. And I will say outright that is not the case. In fact, I devoted another video to that one especially. And if you want to look for it on YouTube at any time, the title of that video is Aluminum Cookware Does Not Cause Alzheimer's Disease. And that's where I get into details and provide references as to why it is safe to cook in aluminum cookware, and I have no intention to stop using my Wagner aluminum Dutch oven for that reason. I do my best in that video to put everybody's to reassure everybody of that. And as I said, I back it up with references and links to real data and proof. Oh, the oven's still on. Let me turn that off. There we go. Okay, so I will indeed encourage anybody, if you have an aluminum pan or pot, go ahead and use it, because yes, it is safe. So I season the inside of my Magnolite. Well, you can certainly do so, although I still feel it is actually not necessary. Okay, pronounced Seaverville. Okay, you're a Glock 30 fan. You're likely right, and I am not, because after all, I'm from New England, and it's not local to me, I'm sorry to say. Papa Dan, how much space do you have between your pans hanging on your rack? 1 inch, 2 inches? I'd say probably like maybe between 1 and 2 inches. So I actually have room on my rack to expand it, and although I'm really trying not to do that, because I mean, I've got a big enough collection as it is. So I'm really doing my best not to be a hoarder. Antiperspirant has aluminum. It caught a bad rap too. Yes, it did. And now they're starting to sell aluminum-free antiperspirant just trying to cash in on the hysteria over it. There's no reason for it. Okay. Meanwhile, do you like the new cast iron like Stargazer, Finex, Field, Lancaster, and Butterpat, or the vintage better? I love my Stargazer. I love my Finex. I love my modern day Lodge and my Lodge Blacklock. I mean, I enjoy using them. They're I cannot answer whether or not I enjoy cooking in vintage better. There are advantages to both, and that's really what gets down into the argument between vintage cast iron and modern cast iron. I find they both have their own advantages. So if I sound like I'm wimping out, well, then I'm wimping out, because enjoy my cast iron collection, both new and old. And as I said, I like my Stargazer, and I like my Finex, and I like my Lodge. And as you've seen in my videos, I try to rotate and cook in as many pans as I can. Aluminum is very common in the environment, and you can't avoid eating it. Yes, exactly. So, have you used wrought iron? Yeah. I'm not. Well, no, I have not, because I don't think I have had the opportunity to do so. I don't know if they make pans from wrought iron or not. And now here again, I know that it's called wrought iron because it's not cast iron. I think that was when they actually used to use a forge and beat it, and use a hammer to beat it into its proper shape. And I do not have any pieces like that, unfortunately. So Lodge makes 10 and a quarter and half inch and 12 inch. Yeah. Oh, yes. Those they make many other pans as well, but those are the most common Lodge pans, definitely. Sure, like to add this to my collection. Need the 12 and the 14. Yeah. Okay. Back to the subject, I guess. Namely that when you 1 second. All this time I didn't even realize I've been running on Wi-Fi here. Wow, that's actually, I'm happy with that. Several months ago, I was having trouble with my reception because I was only using Wi-Fi, but it looks like the cord came out, and I've been using Wi-Fi for a while tonight, but I guess there hasn't been any real problem with the feed. I'm very glad to hear that. Wouldn't wrought iron just be forged carbon steel? Well, I suppose it would. I have a couple Stargazers. They don't hold seasoning too well, but cook pretty well. Yes, there is that. Oh, hello, Lady Liberty Stacker. I guess you heard about the contest and showed up. Yeah, nice to actually meet you in person. I mean, I know we've commented on each other's videos a few times, but yes, Stargazer. I will admit, my Stargazer does have that seasoning problem as well. It's difficult to keep seasoning on it, yet it still cooks just fine. So, And Deep says, in chicken fryers, and Mike Beatty have found a bean pot this year. I had some major pits. Should I grind it to smooth it or leave it? Paid $10 for it. That's really your decision. And here is the argument, I guess, over grinding cast iron versus not grinding cast iron. I am very much firmly in the camp saying that no, do not grind cast iron. I do not see any reason to grind it. What if it has major pits in it? You could still use it. That's on one hand. There are actually instances of people cooking in pitted old cast iron pans. My big 15-gallon cauldron has actually some serious pitting on the inside, and I've made jambalaya in it just fine. As far as cooking goes, you can still cook with it. On the other hand, it's your cast iron. You can do what you want with it, and if you feel it would cook better, or if you think it would look better if you grind down the inside, you could certainly do so, because again, it's yours and you can do what you want with it. Another guy who runs a YouTube channel, the Mudbrooker, he actually took a Red Mountain number 14 and ground down the surface to make it more smooth. And I know that caused a little bit of discussion, because I commented on that particular video saying that I felt that was actually ruining the pan. He posted a very polite response video to it, and I appreciate that. I still disagree with him, but I appreciate, his polite response, and I've tried to be polite as well. The folks on his channel were not exactly that polite in their responses to me. However, I am not interested in gossip or rivalry or anything like that. So I'm not going to get into any details about that, because again, that's what it really comes down to. It's your cast iron. If you want to grind it down, you can do so. And that's pretty much what I said as well. Having said that, Mike Beatty, I was on the fence because I was offered 300. Oh, what do you have that was offered 300 for it? I posted it in a group. Let me go back through those comments. I missed something, unfortunately, because I've been talking so much. Mike Beatty, which pan were you offered 300 for? I'm just curious about that. Brian Anderson, my grandmother lived until 104 years old. She cooked just about everything that would, she cooked in just about everything that would go on a stove. There you go. I smooth out new Asian cast, but not vintage stuff. And you could certainly do so. The thing with smoothing out cast iron, even Asian, is that as you probably have found out, it's more difficult for it to hold seasoning. Just like those Stargazer pans, in fact. Stargazer unfortunately learned the hard way with their earliest cast iron pans, just that you can grind it too smooth, so that, again, it has trouble holding seasoning. And Tracy T's videos. I love me some good steam. Yes, indeed. Okay, we are actually getting it. Oh, the bean pot. $300 for a bean pot. Boy, now I am curious about that. I'm sure there must have been some marking or another that must have felt to somebody that was valuable. It's interesting. I was on the fence. I love my Stargazer and my Wagner, and that's Captain Kirk, and my Wagner ware. And I have a newer one, Stargazer, and then have changed the finish. It holds the seasoning awesome. Well, congratulations. I'm glad to hear that. Tamer than most. I have a 10.5 aluminum pan that's deep and looks like a Dutch oven. Any special way to clean it? Well, with aluminum, one important thing: do not use lye. And that would be lye-based cleaners, because lye will damage and dissolve aluminum. So do not do that. I am happy with cleaning my aluminum pot, for instance, with Barkeeper's Friend. And I treat my little cast iron like it was delicate, so it will last for years, says C Farther. Yeah, that's pretty much what I do too. I mean, this stuff, cast iron is almost indestructible, but there's the key word, almost. It is possible to damage it. It's very, very difficult, and cast iron is very forgiving, which is another reason why it's great to use, but it's not impossible. So yes, I can only agree with everybody on that. Okay, I'm still looking for a number 13 camp oven or spider. Well, thank you very much. Don't hold your breath. Yes, I know. Not to worry. I may never find it, but who knows? Okay. We are getting into time here. I mean, after all, it's been an hour and 25 minutes, and I very much appreciate everybody. And we're actually up to 140 people, so I'm very grateful to that as well. I guess I should say one last time as well, that if you have not yet typed in the secret word, please type in the secret word into this chat just so that you can be entered into the giveaway contest. There will again be one entry for every person here. With one exception that I explained, and that was really to make up for his being inadvertently and honestly, accidentally overlooked in the last giveaway contest. Other than that, I'm being as fair as possible, or trying to be as fair as possible to everybody. Oh yeah, the chicken's long since done. Probably cooled off too. So
I want some chicken skin.
help yourself.
Chicken skin.
Yeah, help yourself. So as you can see, we have plenty of chicken. So.
Oh, it's steaming.
Oh, yes, it is.
What a bunch.
Yes, exactly. So, yeah.
Oh,
yeah, it's the adobo that gives it flavor. So,
napkin,
napkin, paper towel coming up.
That piece looks there. It looks good.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Okay. So yes, as I said, this this giveaway contest tonight will officially end when this live ends, and we're getting about to the end of it as well, since we are getting close to an hour and a half into this. So I can thank you very much for everybody for showing up. But as I said, I'm trying to be as fair as possible to everyone, and but even so, the whole point. Well, I mean, yes, part of the point of the giveaway, of course, is I'm trying to get some more subscribers to my channel. I appreciate the views and thank you very much for that. But really, it still gets down to the whole point is having fun. I mean, I've been doing these Cast Iron Wednesday things now for more than a year. And yeah, it's been a lot of fun. I have learned a lot from this as well. It's been a real learning experience, as well as having a lot of fun. Even for times like tonight, for instance, where you saw us struggling to get that chicken in and out of the oven. Especially because nobody was seriously hurt or anything. That makes it a lot of fun. And that's really the reason why I got into cooking with cast iron and why I enjoy it so much and why I really enjoy doing these live videos here, folks. You folks here showing up and taking part in these chats, this is really, oh my goodness. Just received a donation from Glubscher. Well, thank you very, very much. I wasn't asking for a donation, but thank you very, very much. So they've been welcome anchor through a rough year. Yeah, I know that feeling all too well. It's been a tough year for everybody. And that's why I've said before as well, I find this cooking to be really a great way, almost like therapy or meditation or stress relief. I mean, this really helps me to focus just on the cooking and pretty much leave the rest of the world behind while I do this. And that actually I find to be very relaxing. So, and having said that, again, it's really just that. All I can do is thank everybody here for taking their time to show up and to have fun. That's really the most important thing. If it's not fun, there's really no reason to do it. And this has been a lot of fun. And these live videos are a lot of fun, largely because of all of you. And I thank you very, very much for that. And so,
this starts
yeah.
From the second, actually, you know what? I would say from the second it ends, he starts playing the next one. No. Before this live has even begun, he's already looking forward to the next live too. He's already started to plan out. So this is a thought. It's not something that he just quickly throws together and at the end time. Like he really puts a lot of thought and a lot of care into this. And for stuff that not that he only wants to do, but also he thinks about what you guys want to see and stuff. So this is passion. It's a passion for him, and I appreciate that all of you guys have taken part in this passion. And him.
And
it's a pleasure for all of us. And I appreciate you guys, and I thank you guys.
All right. Well,
thank you. I'm
you.
Say goodnight to you all and let him finish it up.
Yes, and I'm about done as well because again it's been quite a while. As I said, This is the last chance, really, for everybody. If you have not done so yet, type the secret word into the chat to be entered into the giveaway contest, because the contest will end when this live video ends. And that's probably going to be in just a few seconds or so. As I said, I can only thank everybody so much for showing up and for having fun. And yeah, I do want to eat some chicken too. And yeah, let me see. And besides, I've got more cooking coming up. As I mentioned already, I want to do a turkey video over the weekend because it's getting to that time, and I enjoy doing that. And then, of course, there's next week. And for next week, well, we will see what happens. And I do know I've got some things in the lye tank that need to come out and be cleaned. And the holidays are here too, so everybody's going to be very busy preparing for them. And hopefully, cooking in cast iron will help make things a little bit easier and a lot more fun. And having said that, I think we are ready to go. Thank you very much for showing up, everybody. The contest will be ending when this ends, and I can only thank you once again. And as I like to say, see you all next Wednesday. Have a good evening. And we're